What was your oh shit, here we go again moment?
Every single time my sister would fall off the wagon and start doing drugs again. Or steal from me and my parents again. Or land in jail again. Edit, thank you for my first silver, friend. For all of you sharing your stories, thank you. It helps everyone to know they're not alone. There are support groups out there, so don't think you have to go through it alone. Contact your local Al-Anon groups.
Or steal from me and my parents again. Or land in jail again. Yeah. I know the feeling. I haven't seen or talked to my brother in over 10 years now, so I'm mostly detached from that crap. At least my parents finally put their foot/feet down a little to prevent him from stealing from us constantly, but not before enough damage was done.
Every time someone says drunk driving is not a big deal. I absolutely hate to be that guy that tells people what to do and has the moral high ground. But what I hate even more is people driving drunk, which is why I have taken car keys from people with force. Fortunately I am a big fucker, so they will not try to knock me out to get them back. Paid taxi fares, called good friends out on social media, and have tried to leave from a friend's place, before somebody else leaves who I knew would want to drive, just to not have to argue about it. Unfortunately, I made a promise at the podium at a funeral of one of my very best friends, who was killed by a drunk driver, over a decade ago, to never let anyone drive drunk. I regret having to do all that crap, but I've never regret that promise. Please don't drive fucked up. I have done so before my friend was killed and I was very lucky, even though I thought I had everything under control at all time. Believe me, you do not want to be responsible for some decent person's death. If you're a decent person, it will fuck you up, and if you're not a decent person, fuck you anyway. Edit 1, thank you for my first gold and platinum, especially for a post about an issue that is really close to my heart. Edit 2, thank you for all the kind comments and for also caring to not let people drive drunk. Did not expect that at all.
I too am a big fucker and have had to use force on friends to not drive drunk. I'm right there with you, brother. But my reasoning comes from a different place. I was that idiot that thought they were a good drunk driver, late teens. There was one night that I thought I could make it home from a normal Friday night beer pong at our friend's house. Me being the big dude, I'm always pressured to chug the largest volume of beer, or chug a beer faster than someone else. Even if that pressure came from me and not others, as I thought I had to keep up a reputation, see above where I'm an idiot. Well, that night I'm driving home, which was about 15 minutes away, but had to take a fairly large road with a big median. Luckily no one else was on the road near me. I puked into my lap, and drove into the median's grassy ditch and lost control of my car. I didn't hit anything, but I almost rolled my SUV. I finished driving home but don't remember it. I woke up with my engine still running and parked in my normal spot at my house. Covered in dried puke and stinking like hell. That night was my actual wake-up call. I can't believe I hadn't hurt anyone, but I'm so glad I never did. I've never driven again drunk, and even now, in my 30s, I get super nervous about ordering a second beer while out at night if I know I'm driving. I bought a breathalyzer, or my friend did, I can't remember, the week following that incident, and refused to ever let myself or any of my friends leave our party house if they were over the limit. Since growing up, I still force people to take an Uber or taxi, and have paid for them on most occasions. It's the cost, the risk isn't worth it. Keep on keeping on, brother.
I would like to tell you off for driving drunk, but I have been in pretty much your place before the death of my friend. I also know the position you were in too well, hence I am very happy that nobody got hurt and you are a big enough man, no pun intended, smile to wake up. Admitting own mistakes takes courage. Thank you for not just brushing this event off, but taking an active part from something bad happening afterwards. I appreciate that a lot. BTW, to avoid having to think about if I am okay to drive or not, I now always decide in advance whether I want to drink or drive. If I drive, I don't drink a single beer.
Every time my mom would enter a manic episode, I'd come home after a normal day and she would be talking to herself or would start yelling at me about a conversation or situation that never happened. So I was just like, great, here we go again. Edit, thank you for the gold, stranger. I'm glad that my childhood trauma counts for something. Lol, I love you. Edit number 2, Silver 2? Gosh darn. You guys are the sweetest.
My ex was bipolar, so I relate a lot. Her manic episodes were fine but were always followed by a downswing of terrifying proportions. Every time I came home from work and she was shopping online for things she'd never wear, I knew what was gonna happen next. Hope you're doing okay these days. It can really mess a person up, especially when you're dealing with that from a parent.
Oh yeah, I feel that. My mom would go out and buy designer shoes, jewelry, watches, etc. that she would almost certainly never wear and ended up putting herself $16,000 in credit card debt by the time I was 13. It got so bad that we couldn't afford to live in our apartment anymore and had to move out. And I'm doing better now, thank you. I've sought out help and am slowly getting treatment for the PTSD and severe anxiety that she left me with. Childhood trauma for the win, am I right? Oof. I hope you're doing well too, and I'm glad you're out of your past relationship now.
I can really relate to this. My mom was abused and raped as a child by my grandfather and it really fucked her up. She has incredible mood swings and sometimes you just know something is going to set her off. Though I am lucky, really normally she takes out on my father. She even split his eyebrow open with a shoe once. Add that to the fact that we live in a really small flat and it's surprising that my parents haven't split up. I'm literally the only reason my parents are together, though they both love utterly. They are normally compatible with each other.
When I still lived at home, it was any time my dad made some vague excuse to leave the house on foot. He would disappear to the pub for at least 3 or 4 hours, sometimes longer, and we would never know what kind of mood he'd be in when he returned home. So, yeah. Here we go again. Every time I heard I'm just going for a haircut or to place a bet or pick up a prescription.
This sucks. I used to be your dad. I'm sure every trip to go get milk or stop at Home Depot was met with 100% disbelief and disappointment. Sucked for me too, because the guilt started before I walked out the door, but couldn't seem to turn off cruise control. Hope your dad finds his way out. It changed my life in unimaginable ways. To be clear, I didn't used to be your actual dad. Or if I did, super sorry about all of that. I know it doesn't seem like it sometimes, but I love you.
I was bullied quite badly in 6th grade for being a nerd, but my school was actually quite helpful about it, and I wasn't in any classes with the perpetrators in 7th. One day, I remember being in science class while some popular girls in my group were giggling as I sat down. I didn't think it was anything out of the ordinary, so I took one of the school computers from the card to work on the group project. When I loaded up the presentation, my name had been changed to Tomato Face Teacher's Pet. This kind of stuff was normal for me, but the problem was the nickname itself. It was the exact same one from last year. And I knew that it was starting again.
My "oh shit, here we go again" moment was when I walked into school and I looked over to see a substitute teacher that everyone hates going into my least favorite class, which sadly was 7th period algebra. I spent almost the whole class arguing with him because he got an answer to a question wrong, which we all got right. I would say it's "oh shit, here we go again boys" moment.
Being targeted by my high school staff for drug searches because of how I look. Last period of a day, about to take a math test but had to use the restroom, walk into the bathroom, go, and then right after I wash my hands, the man who frequently targets me walks and then he starts sniffing. Greater than sniff sniff. What's it smell like in here to you, Drew? I then began to inhale hard. Although I couldn't smell anything, I thought, "ah shit, here we go again." I was told to wait outside while he searched the bathroom. 3 minutes later he decided to send me down to the office for incidents with students, etc. He then explained to me having a probable cause to search me for the bathroom smelling like drugs. I began to yell in his face for being idiotic and harassing me when the bathrooms at my school constantly reeking of drugs, and been witness to many people using drugs in the bathroom before. At the end of the day, got to take my math test and got a 93%, so ended well, but my day was ruined mentally from this incident. Edit. Wow, this is my first big post, went from 90-ish karma to my now 729, feel amazing. I know it's not a lot but compared to others, but still an accomplishment to me, thanks.
I have a VP at my school that does the same shit. At my school, raping is a huge problem. I dress like a complete stoner, and am sort of but keep all that stuff out of school. Most recent example, he was walking by the bathroom and heard me say grape is my favorite flavor. Proceeded to pull me out of the bathroom and then make me miss a whole period for a search of my person, backpack, my car, and then my friend's car. Because he saw us playing Super Smash Brothers in his car before school. Best part about this? We were talking about the Japanese Ramune soda, not vapes. This happens at least twice a month. They never found anything on me, and at this point when I walk in, the other VPs and principal don't even really search me anymore. They just kind of open my big pocket on my backpack, stare inside, Ask if I've got anything, and when I say no, they let me leave. The car searches are rare usually. It's kind of a big "ah shit, here we go again" moment for both me and the other principals.
My parents told me to avoid using restrooms at any time unless they are in faculty zones like the main office. Big inconvenience, as I am a freshman and will probably have to continue this precaution unless I were to transfer schools. Being under radar 24/7 really is annoying. I can relate to you too on the drama part of it. I want this all to go away, and I feel my parents adding a lawsuit will just cause more negative impact on me having to deal with this, along with trying to prepare for an upcoming AP exam I have to take.
Smart man. Drama is all it'll cause. But just a tip, don't take AP classes. With even one of them, if you want to have a life and actually see your friends or do anything for any period of time, your grade will suffer. Do good on SATs and ACE all honors classes. Why am I talking like some old war vet? I'm sorry.
Once, after partying real hard, me and my friend went to our friends. Me and my other friend are boys, and we went to the girl's house. My friend was dating that girl, and when I went to sleep I woke up at 11 and saw my friend and his girlfriend coming and kissing, and I pretended to be asleep, and then I heard moaning coming from the bed on the other side of the room, and they didn't know I was awake. The exact same thing happened a month later, and they figured I was faking. When I heard moaning, sat up and said, "Oh shit, here we go again," and it hasn't happened since.
At my hotel, we have this group of artists who often come with their manager. We always ask for a credit card or a cash/debit deposit, unless someone or a company covers for him or her. Most of the artists under this manager are cool with having to present their credit card, but it always pisses off the manager. She always complains that it's always complicated with us. When every single time she complains, we explain that unless the documents she sends us to cover the room charge don't cover everything, she doesn't even cover the parking for her artists, we are obligated to ask for a deposit. And despite having said that for the last 3 years, the documents she sends us still only mention that only the room is covered, not the extra expenses or the deposit. So we can't charge anything but the room to the company, thus we have to ask for a deposit. Every time I see her name in the arrival list, I'm like, shit, here we go again. Guest checks into their reservation, but they don't have a credit or debit card for the security deposit. Shit, here we go again.
Then you get the "I've traveled all over the world and was never asked for a credit card." Sure, and the 5 or so hotels I've been at in my life just so happen to be the 5 hotels in the whole world that actually request a deposit. Edit: oh, our manager recently told us there would no longer be an exception for people who don't have a credit card or enough money to make a deposit. Except for our Fidelity membership guests. No deposit equals no room, even if the entire city is full and you have made your booking 6 months prior.
And you, people of YouTube, what were the moments that made you go, "Oh shit, here we go again"? Share your stories in the comments below. Don't forget to like and subscribe for more content like this.